Hi Rennell, it's Miss Baker. I'm one of the garden teachers with Ready to Grow Gardens, and I am here in your garden to take you on a tour to show you what's growing. So I'm so excited. The flowers are blooming and everything is so colorful. I can't wait to show you around. So I'm gonna turn the camera around and I'll take you plant by plant and give you a look at what's growing and talk to you about what kind of maintenance and care we're gonna give and some new things we're gonna be planting so that you can know exactly what's happening in your school garden. So let's go take a look. Okay, so I'm starting off in this beautiful butterfly garden. Boys and girls, the colors are amazing. I'm gonna see if I can zoom in. I spy a little bitty butterfly right here. This is called a skipper. Do you see it on the purple flower? Skippers, there are many different varieties or species of skippers, but the big category of this type of butterfly is called skipper. And this is a very common one. Sometimes people get them confused with a moth because they're so tiny and they're not super colorful, but they're important pollinators in our garden. So we have a skipper here visiting. We have bees. Of course, hummingbirds are in our area right now. So hummingbirds love all of these same nectar plants. You can hear the birds chirping. These are zinnias. These are lantana. So we're the yellow are lantana. All of these flowers were specifically chosen because they attract pollinators to your garden. There's some more zinnias, more lantana. Over here, there's some white and pink dianthus, and then there's some blue salvia. So there are so many. This one is called verbena. So we are really excited about all the color here. Even in this garden over here, oh, you can hear the bells going off. There's penta. This one is like a hummingbird magnet. Hummingbirds love the penta. They love this one called porterweed. These are some of the flowers that we have planted so that we can attract those pollinators to your garden. It's like putting out your favorite food. If we were one to ask you, what is your favorite food? And we wanted you to come where we wanted you to go, we could put out that favorite food and you'd probably walk that way. And that's the same thing with pollinating insects. Planting their favorite nectar plants will make them come to your garden. So this is all the beautiful color we have. One more thing, in a butterfly garden you need food for the butterflies, but you also need food for the caterpillars. And I know Rennell boys and girls are familiar with how awesome you had so many monarch caterpillars and butterflies this year. So here is the food plant for the monarch caterpillars. This is milkweed. And if you want to have monarch caterpillars in your garden, you have to have the right food plant for the butterfly to lay eggs on. The butterfly adult will lay eggs on the milkweed, and then the egg hatches out, and then that's what the larva will eat. Okay friends, now I've moved over to your vegetable garden. So let's go take a look and see what food is growing. Some of this we've already been harvesting and donating to Cypress Assistance Ministries for you. The carrots were harvested and soon the potatoes are going to be ready. So all the food that you worked hard to grow this year is being donated to the food pantry. So feel great about that because it's a wonderful way to share your harvest. So I'll turn the camera around this time and show you the fruit and veggies. Beautiful, let me get a close-up of this beautiful color stem. Isn't that pretty? So chard is a great winter crop, and so it's on its way out because the hotter it gets, the less happy this plant's going to be, but it has amazing color. You can see the veins in the leaf where all the water and nutrients flow. We know that the leaf is where photosynthesis happens. So great looking veggie called Swiss chard. Now here is the potatoes. Now there's two different sections. You have some potatoes down the way also, but let's go ahead and take a look at the potatoes. These are all coming out. They're going to be harvested to the food pantry, like I said, but look, we don't even have to dig very deep, do we? So the plant above the ground is starting to look yellow. Some of it's even turning brown. That's normal. That's to be expected because it's time for the potatoes to be harvested. So the plant is done with its life cycle. It's already made flowers, and now it's time to dig them up. So let me just show you what a potato, oh, I have to pull pretty hard. Let's see what it looks like. Look at that. So on a potato plant, there are true roots. The roots of the plant absorb water and nutrients. Look at those roots. And you know what roots do. They're down under the ground and they help the plant grow by anchoring it into the ground and by sucking up the water and nutrients. This part of the plant is a completely other part. This is called a tuber. And tubers have a function also. Tubers of a plant store nutrients. So it's not a root at all. This potato is not absorbing any water for the plant. So tubers and roots, stem and leaves. And we already missed the flowers. They've already bloomed and they're done. But look at that, pretty nice. Sometimes there's even potatoes left underneath. There's another one. So then average for each potato plant is about 5 potatoes per plant. You can see there were some tiny ones here. If we would have waited a little longer, we might have gotten more potatoes. I'm just taking out one today so that we can see how they're doing and then gauge how many more we're going to have. But the potatoes look great. We'll make sure we get these donated to the food pantry for you. And let's take a look at what else we have growing. I bet you guys can identify this plant. What do you think this is? It's a little bit taller than I am, and I'm 5'7", has big leaves. We eat the seeds of this plant. Let's see. Down here, something amazing is growing that will have tassels at the top. Maybe you like to eat it on the cob. What do you think this is? There are 6 or 7 of them. These are corn stalks. Pretty exciting to grow corn at school. Typically you need more corn for germination to happen. So it is pretty special that it actually is forming ears of corn on these stalks, because normally we need to grow even more corn for it to turn out and work where it grows the cob for us. Okay, the next food I have that I can show you is a fruit, and the fruit is growing pretty well over here. The nice shaped leaves, pretty yellow flowers, and the flowers after pollination are making a fruit called a cucumber. I know that almost looks like a zucchini. This variety of cucumber is a little bit different. It grows long and skinny. Maybe it looks a little different than the kind you eat at your house, but beautiful cucumbers. This one, what does this one remind you of? It looks like a little pickle, doesn't it? And pickles are cucumbers. So if you harvest a cucumber when it's small and then pickle it by using vinegar and seasoning and the ingredients, salt, different ingredients that make cucumber turn into a pickle, that's what you've had. But look at over here, there's some more. So everything's looking really great with the cucumber vine. Cucumbers will grow longer and longer. Long vine, if we had a trellis here, it would grow up, but instead this one is just growing through the garden, which is okay. But this is a gorgeous tomato plant. And this plant is called indigo blueberry. That's the name of the tomato plant. And look at the fruit. They're like purple little fruit on here, and we're not used to seeing purple tomatoes, are we? So the thing about this tomato plant is that the fruit starts off purple and then it's going to ripen, and when it's ready to eat, it will turn an orangish red. So this purpley color is beautiful, it's super fun, but it means that the fruit is not ready yet. So the tomato plant is really big. It's looking great. We've been pruning it. Mrs. Winger, one of the garden teachers, has been here, and she has been pruning and fertilizing. She's been making sure all the leaves are away from the soil and taking off any leaves that prevent the air from flowing through. So the plant's in good shape. It's up at the sun. The fruit looks good. There's still new flowers. That tells us that the plant is very happy and doing well. Last 2 things, more basil and an eggplant. The eggplant is kind of the same situation as the pepper. I think it just needs a little more water and some fertilizer and it should be good to go. Beautiful little flowers here. Look at how cute. I'm I'm not even sure the name of this type of flower. It looks like a daisy. I'm sure you're familiar with that name, but I'm not sure of the exact name of this particular daisy, but it sure is cute. It's right here at the end of your vegetable garden. So your garden looks amazing, Rennell. I love it. We've got some green beans planted here. Those will grow through the summer. Nothing's sprouted yet, but we've got a week of rain coming up, and that will do us a lot of good for everything that's growing. Oh, I spy one more plant. Look at that. This leaf, 2 more plants. This is a cucumber. This is a squash plant. This is a watermelon plant. Watermelon leaves are pretty easy to identify. They grow like a vine. Look at this vine, just like the cucumber is winding its way through with some cucumbers on this side. So this is the cucumber vine. This is a watermelon vine. Both of these plants will be much happier once we get that rain that's on its way. So I'm really happy with that. And here is the grand finale, the big finish to this garden tour video. I think some of you, probably 3rd graders, will remember that we placed a pumpkin in the garden, and we wanted to watch it decompose and rot and become part of the earth. When a pumpkin decomposes, it becomes humus soil, dark, rich soil that has all the nutrients. And we put the pumpkin in the garden. It was sitting right here, but there's no sign of a pumpkin. The only thing that's left are a few clues. There are some pumpkin seeds, but many of the pumpkin seeds sprouted, and these are the pumpkin plants. So you have a pumpkin patch actually growing right here in your garden. Now it's not looking so great. We know that plants need space, and lots of pumpkin seeds germinated all at the same time, so it's a little crowded in here. But I wanted to show you something exciting. So when you let nature just take its course and do its thing, sometimes it doesn't look the same as if we had it in a garden growing it on purpose. But look at all the vines. I see some flowers that have bloomed. And then if I go down even further looking, first of all, the stems of a pumpkin are very pokey and spiky. Do you see that? Can you see all these spikes on the stem? On these leaves, actually. Pretty rough. Listen if you can hear the sound. It's like sandpaper. It's very, very rough. I'm sure you can see that texture as well. But when I'm moving these leaves out of the way to look underneath, I found something exciting. Where did it go? Where did it go? This plant is pretty heavy too, I'll tell you that. There's one down here that's gotten yellow. But there was a better one. Let's see, where did it go? Where did it go? I'm looking. It's kind of a thick. Oh, there it is. I see it. Look down here. Do you see this oval shape? There's a tendril again. Do you see this oval shape? There's a flower here. And this is a pumpkin. You guys have a pumpkin growing. A lot of these flowers bloomed and no pumpkin formed. If pollination doesn't happen when the flower is open, it has one shot at it, one chance. If it doesn't get pollinated, then that flower falls off and there's no pumpkin. But you guys have a pumpkin. Pretty exciting. Okay, Rennell friends, I'm done here for today. I hope you enjoyed that garden tour. We'll be back again and update you and keep everything growing. We'll continue planting as each crop comes out and gets donated to Cypress Assistance Ministries. We'll plant something new in its place, and we'll keep growing all summer long to donate food from your beautiful garden, and then we'll keep these flowers growing as well. So I hope you have a great summer. Watch our YouTube channel. I hope you like and subscribe it so that you can follow along. We'll have some other fun activities and challenges this summer that we'll share on our YouTube channel, but we'll also continue updating you with some garden tours and explaining what's growing in your garden so that you can know exactly what kind of food we have in your garden. So thanks again, and I'll see you next time.